Hi Church, I'm Jacob, one of the elders in the First Congregation, and I also serve as the church treasurer. I'd like to share today an update on highlights from 2022 and how we closed 2022 from a financial perspective. With a very strong month in December, total 2022 general fund giving grew 8.8% year on year to reach $6.1 million. Now this amount is solely for RHC Central and does not include either of the church plants. Now one of the risks that we had with so many of our core people going with the plants was that giving at Central may decline. But it is amazing that in fact we saw the opposite and had an increase thanks to God's grace and faithful giving by so many of you. As a quick reminder, we keep only 85% of the giving that we receive for our general operating expenses, and we allocate 10% to missions, 3% to benevolence, mercy, and justice, and 2% to support those keen on getting into ministry work with education support. Total general fund expenses last year were $4.8 million and came in at about 95% versus the budget. After taking off 15% as mentioned, we had a surplus of almost $400,000. A big reason for the surplus for last year is because of some large gifts that we had in December. In total, there was around $785,000 in large gifts, including one individual gift of over $500,000. While we are deeply thankful for the trust and generosity of those of you who made these large gifts, we need to also be aware that we cannot depend on continued one-off gifts like this, and it is far more sustainable and healthy to have a church supported by the smaller gifts of all rather than the bigger gifts of a few. Costs will be higher this year, mainly due to more events and venue costs, and while we see attendance growing quickly, if we take out the impact of these big gifts, the number of monthly givers has not increased as much. We would like to encourage you that if you have decided to make RHC your home and support the mission that God has given us, to prayerfully consider how God is calling you to give in your tithes and offerings. Given the large gifts that we just got, I would also like to take this opportunity to share RHC's policy on gifts and giving, which may be different from other churches in Singapore and in other countries. RHC's policy on tithing and offering is that pastors and even myself as treasurer do not know who gives and how much. The heart behind this is that while we appreciate giving and the trust that you are putting in RHC to steward these gifts, we feel knowing these details is not something essential for pastors in order to lead the church and can even potentially have unhelpful effects in how we shepherd people. However, again, we deeply appreciate your contribution and partnership in the vision God has given us. Please note that if you would like a receipt for confirmation, our Finance Director Chris Tang would be happy to help with that. For US citizens, we've also worked on some options for tax exemption, and if you would like to find out more, please chat with Chris. Thank you for partnering with us to continue building on our vision for renewing Singapore and Asia by people, churches, and cities transformed by the gospel. In the last year, we have seen this vision expressed in the starting of 2 church plants, as well as the early phase of a new counseling center. Also, as usual, over Easter, we will feature our Easter sacrificial offering, where all money collected that weekend will be donated to Mercy and Justice Partners. We look forward to sharing more updates and good news on these and other initiatives soon. And thank you again for your continued support.